hide under the pale moonlight. Vinny and Phil bring the shadows to life. Tales of the ghostly whispers in the night. Bigfoot and aliens ready for the strife. The darkness thickens, the air is cold. Haunting stories waiting to unfold. Supernatural Sundays, the veil is thin. Join us in the chaos, let the night begin. With every whisper and each chilling tale, dare to believe where shadows prevail. EVPs echo through the haunted trees. Demons lurk as the chill hits with ease. But the caps rolling with guests to amaze. Cryptids and spirits were lost in the haze. Northmen in the foliage, watch your back. Dogmen prowling, ready to attack. Supernatural Sundays, the veil is thin. Join us in the chaos, let the night begin. With every whisper and each chilling tale, dare to believe where shadows prevail. Moving in the foliage, watch your back. Through the prowling, ready to attack. Supernatural Sundays, the veil is thin. Join us in the chaos, let the night begin. With every whisper and each chilling tale, dare to believe where shadows prevail. So tune in next week, fear in your soul. Darkness awaits, let the stories unfold.
Welcome everybody to this week's edition of Supernatural Sundays on the February the 8th. Come on, we finally made it into February. Warmed up a little bit. Finally got some of that danged old ice to melt around here. There's some people couldn't get out of their driveway for a good week. People live on a hill and whatnot. It's been a little sketchy around here. So I think we're going to get a little bit of a heat wave next week before the next onslaught. We got a new guy this week. Old Simon over here. He's pretty cool. He's one of these ventriloquist dummies, and I had to fix him. His mouth wasn't working there. But say hello there, buddy. Hello, how you doing? I'm doing just fine. Are you gonna enjoy the show tonight? Yeah, I'm ready for the show. Okay, well he's hanging out over there with his friend, and she set the cat balls off 2 weeks in a row over there. So hopefully we'll see if we can get some more activity out of her over there in her tartan dress. But Simon, he's a new addition, and looking forward to doing some fun things with him. Anyway, every week we've been trying out different dolls and whatnot, see if any of them have any kind of attachment. And so far, this little girl doll here is the only thing that's done anything. So we're gonna give her one more go around. She's gonna hang out with her Mr. Simon. We'll see if anything happens. Got a few new things going on this week. Got a new cryptid. Got some UFO updates. Got a couple topics I want to discuss. Different things. See what you guys think about astral projection and underwater paranormal activity. And well, I don't have a guest this week. It's been a pretty tight week. We got everything going. We were out of town last weekend for a wedding. Pretty cool. Over there, cousin Lindsay got hitched over there in Illinois, over by St. Louis. It's a pretty good trip. So let's get into the news this week. Well, I'm hoping that the government's going to release the disclosure on UFOs. Hopefully, sometime this year. I heard President he gave him permission to dump some files, and I think there's one. I think he's a congressman. Going to go in. They're going to let him go into Area 51 and check it out and stuff. So that's going to be pretty exciting. They're supposed to have alien bodies and maybe some live ones doing reverse engineering on the alien technology and whatnot. So I'm really curious to see what he's allowed to see. But this first one is a UFO that was seen around a volcano. And I'm thinking, well, maybe they had a drone, flying over, getting some volcanic activity. Maybe not, but these people seem to think this is a UFO around a volcano. I don't think there's any sound with this one, so that little black speck right there. I don't know if my mouse is showing up on the screen, but that little black speck they think is the UFO. That went pretty fast. Let's roll that one more time. See if anybody else spots that thing. I don't see any propellers on it. Like a drone would usually have like propellers. That thing just looks kind of like I don't know, like a football or something. Going sideways there. Pretty wild. That was one of my UFOs. This next UFO was spotted in Florida. They're always spotting weird stuff in Florida, let me tell you. With all that swamp gas going on and stuff coming in off the ocean, you just right there by the Bermuda Triangle, you just never know what's going to come flying up over Florida. So this one here was it didn't say where in Florida, but it was like spotted in Florida. What do you think this is? This was spotted in Florida back in 2025, towards the end of the year. Kind of an orange glowing. I've seen some stuff like that before. I didn't know what it was, but let's see if I can get something's going on here on my screen, y'all. That was weird. Okay, I'm gonna hit X, see what happens. Okay, good. I didn't lose you. This crazy mouse. Most of my mouse I deal with have two buttons. This thing's got like 2 buttons on the left, 2 buttons on the right, a wheelie on the top, and 2 more buttons on the top, and I accidentally hit it once in a while. I might have to get with Vinny, tell him I need just an old school mouse. This is too fancy for me. Let's see that Florida one more time. I don't know about y'all, but I was having trouble seeing that thing.
What do you think this is? This was spotted in Florida back in 2025, towards the end of the year.
I would say that's a luminary, you know, like where they get, it looks like a sack and it's got like a candle in it and like a little parachute thing, and like a little paper balloon that goes up. Like, people launch them at 4th of July and whatnot. Thinking it could be something like that, but it almost looked like it had little strobe lights on it there toward the end. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's a ghost. It's a ghost. Might be all my UFO stuff for this week. All right. Feel free to call in, anybody, if you want to. Got questions for me or you got any comments? I'd love to hear from some real life psychics, real life practitioners of witchcraft, psychic energy, some Reikis. I got a couple of Reikis on my team. I'd like to hear from some other Reikis, see what you guys think. This, I think we're just going to roll on into the cryptids. What do y'all think? Cryptids? What do you think there, Simon? Yeah. Okay. I think he wants to see some cryptids. This, they're calling this a cryptid. I think this is just an actual species of an eagle. I believe they call it a wolf eagle, but I may be wrong. I may be completely wrong, but I believe this is an actual bird. I don't think this is a cryptid, but this thing is huge and it kind of looks creepy, and it's sitting out there in the dark. So maybe it's injured or something wrong with it, or I don't know. But check this thing out, man. It's pretty cool. Somebody put a growl noise in there just for fun, I guess. Anyway, if you notice it had its eyes in the front looking straight at you. Most of your birds of prey are frontal facing with their eyes because they're hunting, and they always look ahead. Birds that are the prey, the ones that are going to get eaten, have their eyes on the side because they're always looking around. Maybe looking around for an eagle or a chicken hawk or whatever coming in. So like your owls, your eagles, your hawks, your osprey, they're all forward facing. And then your chickens, they're looking at the side. And your ducks. Okay. I have another cryptid. And my files are jumping around a little bit. Got to get the trifocals going here. This here, I think, could be some AI generated, but it's kind of entertaining. This looks like a Wendigo taking on a bear to me. So if I had to make an observation, I think that's what this is supposed to be. That might have been 2 people in costumes. I don't know that. He kind of looked like he was dancing around, like they weren't really fighting or anything. They're just kind of dancing around. I'm sure you've all heard of Nessie over in Loch Ness, over in Scotland, and supposedly it's like a plesiosaur, big giant aquatic creature, like 30, 35 feet long. and they've seen the head, and they'll see a couple of the humps, or they've got some sonar images and some underwater pictures look like a flipper, but it's pretty elusive. It could have been mistaken, like could have been a log, could have been misidentified, something. Uh, it's kind of like Bigfoot. Nobody's ever brought Nessie in their boat. Nobody's ever brought him up on a fishing pole or a net, and so we've got something very similar. We've heard of Ogopogo out there out on the east side of the United States over there, where they have the Thousand Islands. That's where they named the Thousand Island dressing from, salad dressing. They got the Ogopogo and Lake Champlain. Sometimes they call them Champ. And there's Lake Champlain, and I think Ogopogo might be west. I might be getting them confused. It might be up there by like British Columbia. This one is in Crater Lake. And Crater Lake, if you guys aren't familiar with, is the deepest lake in the United States. And it's pretty low in nutritional value. So there's not like a lot of different species of fish and whatnot there. There's some salmon, I think, that we may have actually put in there. But it was like a mountain collapsed in, made this crater, and water just filled in. So it's not like a river fed lake or a stream fed, where we've dammed it up, or it's a natural dam. It was just a crater filled in with water. So it's not super nutritional. And so they're not sure if anything, as far as a creature, could be sustainable with the nutrients in that lake. But if anyway, they were doing the sonar. They were like mapping the underwater structure just to try to show just how deep it is and try to get a gauge of what the bottom of Crater Lake looks like. These scientists were doing their sonar mapping, and they discovered something about 35 foot long, and it moved, and it changed direction. And they're like, that's not a rock or a log. So here we go.
Crater Lake is the deepest lake in the United States, 1943 feet deep. And in 2008, sonar detected something that shouldn't exist, Klamath County. Crater Lake formed 7,700 years ago when Mount Mazama collapsed. The lake has no inlet or outlet, completely isolated. In 2008, the U.S. Geological Survey conducted a bathymetric survey, mapping the lake floor with advanced sonar. At 1,200 feet depth, the sonar detected a large moving object. Estimated length over 30 feet, it moved horizontally, changed direction, followed the survey boat for over 20 minutes. The data was reviewed by marine biologists. They found no explanation. Crater Lake has no fish larger than kokanee salmon. Introduced in 1888. Maximum length 2 feet. The object was 15 times larger. Believers say the lake could harbor an unknown species, isolated for thousands of years, evolving in complete darkness at extreme depth. The lake is oligotrophic, low nutrients. But deep thermal vents could provide food sources. Skeptics argue its equipment malfunction, sonar echoes bouncing off underwater formations. But the object moved, changed speed and direction. Formations don't do that. The USGS data is archived and available through their public records. You can request the sonar files. Real creature or equipment error. Comment your theory. Follow for more cryptid evidence audits.
Pretty compelling. I know they have those live scopes now. The guys out there having their fishing boats, and I'm not sure. I think it works on some kind of sonar type system. When I was a kid, your depth finder basically was a flasher unit. It was a circle. It would just go around and it would light up, base out, it'd bounce off the bottom of the lake. There's a transducer goes on the back of your boat, and it goes down and it bounces off the bottom of the lake, and the signal bounces back. And based on how long it takes the signal to come back, that determines the depth. And sometimes it'll be solid if it's hitting a rock or something, a structure. But if it's like mud, sometimes it'll blink its flash and stuff because it's having trouble picking up on the bottom. But it was just a little circle, and it would just be a light. That was your depth. But then they got more advanced with the transducers, and now they have they got the LCD, and they got the big, it's like these boats got like a TV screen now. It's like very detailed. You can see you can see the fish, swimming around and stuff. They're kind of like cartoon fish, Well, then now they got these live scopes. You can see your bait going down, and you can see the fish. Like put the bait right on the fish, and it's kind of a game changer for a lot of fishermen. I don't know how deep a live scope goes. I've never played around one. Maybe some fishermen could call in or let me know in the next week or so. And be kind of curious if they could go to that lake over there in the Crater Lake with a bunch of bass boats out there with their live scopes going, and maybe they could see what this thing is down there, get a good read on it. That'd be pretty cool. If some fishermen would get involved with our cryptid research. That'd be awesome. I know they have underwater cameras too, but the thing is, I don't know if they record sound. Like if you're trying to hear things like Evie. Well, hello over there. I think I bumped anything. Nope. Are you saying hello? Is that you, Simon? Or is that you? I think her name's Addie. I'm not mistaken. Simon, are you doing that? Or is that Addie? Hello? You guys got anything to say for yourself? No. Anyway, I don't know how deep a live scope goes. And I do know they have underwater cameras that can go, down, and pretty sure like your GoPros, those can pick up sound, because we've been wanting to do some underwater stuff this year. If anybody's got any of these underwater systems, hydrophone, that's what typically the Navy uses, and scientists trying to hear whales and shrimp, different creatures. We're kind of looking for something like that. We want to go to some of these places where they've flooded out of town and where you can go, and check it out. And speaking of such a town, here's one in Pennsylvania. I'm thinking of that movie with Tom Hanks, where he's stranded on the island and his little volleyball friends, Wilson. This is Wilsonville.
I'm really excited to show this to you. My lighter disappeared right in front of me. Well, I found this video that shows it exactly how it happened. They caught it on film. It's awesome. Here we go.
In the video, she's sitting with her boyfriend, casually asking if she can use his vape.
I hit the wrong button, y'all. I have to move my screen closer. Oh, where'd it go? Anyway, there's this lake and there's a town called Wilsonville in Pennsylvania, and they flooded it. And for some reason, thought that was it. That was the guy looking for his lighter. Okay, that was the Crater Lake. Well, maybe it didn't upload, y'all. Oh well. If I can't find it this week, we'll put her on next week. Anyway, there's a lake called and there was a town of Wilsonville in the bottom of this lake, and they moved the graves and moved a lot of the houses and buildings, but the town's still down there to this day. But anyway, this cryptid comes to us from Alaska, I believe, and it's kind of interesting. I've never heard of this one before.
Southeast Alaska has a shapeshifter that's been reported for over 200 years, the Kushtaka. Tlingit legend describes it as an otter man, half human, half otter. It lures people into the water, mimics voices, causes disappearances. But modern sightings suggest something real. July 1900. A prospector near Wrangell reported being followed by a creature. Walked on two legs, covered in dark fur, otter-like face. It mimicked his voice, called his name. He fired his rifle. It ran into the forest. August 1946, Petersburg. Fishermen reported seeing a bipedal creature on the shore. 4 feet tall, wet fur. It dove into the water and swam away. Faster than any human. September 1982, Ketchikan. A hiker heard her name called from the tree line. She saw a figure, short, dark, otter-shaped head. It gestured for her to follow. She ran. October 2011, Sitka. A kayaker photographed something on a rock. Bipedal. Otter features. The photo went viral. Wildlife officials said it was a river otter standing upright. But river otters don't stand 4 feet tall. All sightings occurred in coastal areas. Dense temperate rainforest. Thousands of islands. Believers say the Kushtaka is a real species, adapted to land and water. Skeptics say it's misidentified otters or folklore, but otters don't mimic human voices. The last reported sighting was 2017 near Juneau. Same description. Have you heard your name called in Alaska forests? Comment your location. Follow for more Alaska cryptid timelines.
That almost sounds like a shapeshifter type creature, like maybe a skinwalker or a Wendigo. Yeah, 'cause, even if something was some kind of weird aquatic, maybe there's a different version of Bigfoot. Sasquatch, we've never really thought about an aquatic one. I did work with a sheriff, and back in the '60s, he saw what he called a hairy man. He said, and it come down the riverbank, walked right into the river, and went right into the water, and it was gone. So who knows if Bigfoot can swim or if they're aquatic? I did find the clip I was looking for. The image looked like something else. So anyway, I was talking about underwater research, and this is one of the places I would like to go. I think this would be pretty cool. Investigate. There's some places in over on Kentucky Lake where there's some towns stuff still down there. I was at a lake up in Michigan. I think it's Hillsdale Lake, right there by Hillsdale, and I was out in a boat, fishing. Looked down, and I saw a roof of a house. Like you could almost hit it with your boat, And I was like, "What's going on here?" And they said back in like 1965, there was a tornado came through, and that was some of the remnants of that tornado. There's still roofs down there. I believe Dale Hollow still has there's some houses down there, and then I'd really like to go. I think it's Lake Lanier where they're having a lot of people have drowned. Different things have happened. They claim that whole lake's haunted. So I'm like, I'd really like to check that out. So here you go, Wilsonville. Come on.
You probably know Lake Wallenpaupack is a summer vacation spot. But did you know that when you are swimming there, you are floating over a ghost town? This is the story of Wilsonville. In the 1920s, the power company PP&L decided they needed a massive hydroelectric dam to power the region. The problem? There was a town in the way. Wilsonville was a thriving village with farms, a school, and a cemetery. But in 1926, the company bought the land and told everyone to leave. It was a race against time. They moved houses on trucks. They dug up 100 bodies from the cemetery to move them to higher ground. But they couldn't move everything. When the dam gates closed, 5,700 acres of land were flooded. Roads, barn foundations, and bridges disappeared under 60 feet of water. Today, Lake Wallenpaupack is one of the biggest lakes in Pennsylvania. But down at the bottom, the ruins of Wilsonville are still sleeping in the dark. Have you ever been there?
Pretty awesome to go check it out. There's a lake in Illinois, over southern Illinois, just south of Mount Vernon, Rend Lake. We go over there quite a bit. It's a nice place to fish if you fish for crappie, catfish, that kind of thing. But when they built that lake, they actually had to move some cemeteries, and we did investigate the cemetery over. I think it's the Kirk Cemetery over by the town of Ina. I think it's there between Bonnie and Ina. And if you go to the back of the cemetery, there's like a whole row, and they're all graves that were moved from another site. We thought, well, it might be active. These graves are definitely disturbed and moved, but maybe the energy's still back under the lake, or maybe they just moved on. That'd be kind of interesting. Another interesting thing that happened. This is after the lake was formed. They actually found 2 little girls. It was Wayne Fitzgerald State Park. They actually found a lady's severed head. And then this was back in, I think, 1993, 94. And they about 2 years ago, they went back with some modern DNA techniques. They were able to identify her DNA, and she was a lady from Tennessee who was going to the convenience store one night and just disappeared. And they never have found the body. Who knows what happened to the body, but they found the head. And prayers go out to those little girls that found that. Hopefully they're okay, but I would think that would traumatize, anybody. We went over there and tried to do a little investigating, but we're not exactly sure where the head was. I've camped there a few times. It's a little weird around that lake. There's been some sightings. They got their own version of Bigfoot over in southern Illinois called the Big Muddy Monster. There's a book and a documentary, pretty interesting. My dad used to raccoon hunt there when he was younger, and he said every once in a while you'd get out there and be some really weird stuff. Um, they they were out hunting one night, and they were by a creek, and they heard the dogs go across the creek. Splish splash across the creek. It was a pretty good sized creek. Probably, I don't know, 35, 40 foot across. I don't know. I wasn't there, but he described it. Pretty decent sized creek, and you heard the dogs on the other side of the creek, and then pretty soon they were barking, but trailing something. Pretty soon they quit barking, and he hears them turn around coming back. He hears the dogs, and he hears something behind him, like crashing, like knocking over saplings. And it's like, man, that sounds pretty big. Must be a big deer or something like that. And he said he heard the dogs get back to the creek. He heard them splish splashing through the water, and then whatever this was behind him, he heard it, and then he didn't hear anything, and then he heard it on his side of the creek. So whatever it was didn't even touch the water. The dogs had to swim across. Whatever this was jumped over the creek, basically. And he said these dogs came running up, and they were back by the truck. And he said these dogs would go after raccoons, and they weren't scared of coyotes or anything. These dogs hunted in the dark, and they came up and got under his legs, and they wouldn't leave. He said they had their tails tucked between their legs. He said these dogs were scared. He said they heard something kind of crashing around, and they'd shine a light, and it wouldn't come close enough to see what it was, but they'd see eyeballs. The eyeballs would go out, and then they'd see them down low, and then they'd see them up high, like whatever it was all around. And he thought maybe it was a big cat or something, but cats don't crash into trees, and they're quiet, they're stealthy. And so never did figure out what it was, but he asked his brother Chuck at the time, "Are you scared?" And Chuck was like, "No, I'm good, but I think these dogs are ready to go home." So that was one of his coon hunting stories. I have a few other ones uh, that I'll share one of these times. But anyway, that was one of our cryptid stories. I told him it was probably the Big Muddy Monster, had to be, but they didn't have camera phones back then, or we would have probably got some blurry photos and videos of it. I thought I had one more. Okay, this is kind of a cryptid story. These guys went out investigating, looking for signs of, I think they were looking for Bigfoot or Dogman or something like that. And they found some of their evidence. I got to do some more research on this. If anybody's ever heard anything about Sawyer and Eli, I'm hoping this isn't just a made up story, but it's kind of an interesting little clip where these guys went missing.
Their final footage revealed a massive heat-radiating figure, something that should not exist. The creature saw the drone, acted with intelligence, and vanished. What happened to Sawyer and Eli remains a chilling mystery, one that challenges everything we know about the wild.
Well, who was Sawyer and Eli? And what happened to their drone? Did the drone land and we found the drone and didn't find them? And what's going on here with these guys? Or is this just a bunch of made up stuff? But I think if you have a guy that sounds like David Attenborough narrating, it makes it more believable. Well, that's interesting. The ball's going off again. Are you doing that? Which one are you doing? Simon, is it you? Are you doing that? Or is that Eddie over there? Okay. Does that mean that's you, Eddie? You going for round 3? This is your 3rd week in a row sitting off a cat ball. Come on. This is live, y'all. We are live. This is not pre-taped. I think I can hold up my phone at 7:30. It's Mark at 7:36 p.m. We had a cat ball going off for the 2nd time tonight. And it's just that one ball. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna whack this thing and see if I can get him to go off. Maybe after it quits. Maybe that one's extra sensitive. Can you make it stop? Nope. It's still going. That's interesting because we did this for weeks and weeks and nothing ever happened. This is the 3rd week in a row. Okay, I'm gonna hit it too. I'm gonna shake them all. I hit those pretty hard, and then that one didn't go off. Let me hit it. There we go. I don't know. Eddie, your ball stopped off quicker than the rest of them. What's up with that, girl? Can you make it go on? Can you make it go off? Can you guys do that again? Make it go off on cue? I don't know, y'all. The 3rd week in a row. Of course, we got a new guy here with her tonight, Simon. It could be Simon. Simon says, I don't know, bro. Well, let's see if I have any more cryptids. This kind of follows on with the cryptids. This I kind of made this little picture. This is something you want to watch out for when you're out in the woods. Probably one of the scariest things you're going to run into is a wild pig out there. They are invasive. They are multiplying exponentially. They're taking over. They're pretty well taking over Texas and Oklahoma. They are migrating up this way. We're starting to get populations established up here in Kentucky. I think as far north as Ohio. I don't know about Southern Illinois yet, but excuse me. I talked to some guys at deer hunt. They were over in Lamb Twin Lakes. We went over there last fall, checking out some things. We checked out the hippie bus, and it's a couple hours away, so we're planning on more little expeditions over to Lamb Twin Lakes. Because that's one of the hot spots for cryptid activity over here in Kentucky, where they've seen the dog man, Bigfoot, that kind of thing. But these guys told me, they said that these hogs come running through there sometimes. He said they're like a bulldozer. He said, I don't know if any of the cryptid sightings could be misidentified hog sightings, but everybody I've talked to said, you got to be really careful around those, especially if there's a big pack of them, and then you have like there'll be a big boar hog and sometimes a big sow hog that might be protecting babies or whatever. And everything I've observed and watched, guys that hunt them and stuff, their dogs have like Kevlar vests on them, like like a police dog would wear in case he gets somebody trying to shoot at him or stab, but because their tusks can rip you up pretty bad. Some of the victims from the cryptids have been ripped up pretty bad, so they're thinking it could have been some hogs got them. So if you're going out into hog country, be careful. I mean, you're probably more likely to run across a wild hog than you will a cryptid. I may never see one in my lifetime. I'm going to keep looking for them, but more likely, if you're out there enough, you may encounter a wild hog. Pretty rare to see a big cat. They're pretty elusive. They do have a lot of bears down around Gatlinburg. We've got a couple up in this area. They're pretty skittish. You'd have to go way out there. You might see a bear, but you're probably more likely to run into these hogs. But if you shoot one, I've heard they're pretty good eating. They're not much different than the farm raised hogs. They all make pretty good bacon. Thinking that may be all the cryptids. Yeah, I think it's time. It's that time.
I could have used a little more cowbell.
Because you can never have enough cowbell. You got to have more cowbell. And I got a new one this week. Pretty old. It's an antique one, man. It's really thick. It's like, this isn't one of those little cheap ones, man. It's really old. I got it up at the Brownsville auction. Shout out to Justin up there, Jessica, and everybody up there at Brownsville auction house. I'm trying to think who else. Lila, Isaiah. Yeah. Shout out to those guys. I picked this up. I think this came from like an estate or something. I don't think the bell has any attachment. I don't know. We might have to put a cat ball on it or some equipment, see if we get anything. But yeah, that cat ball's went off a couple times. You guys got anything to say for yourself? Speak up now. All right. It's time to get into the paranormal. And this was a video I was accidentally showed earlier. This guy's looking for his big lighter.
I'm really excited to show this to you. My lighter disappeared right in front of me. Well, I found this video that shows exactly how it happened. They caught it on film. It's awesome. Here we go.
In the video, she's sitting with her boyfriend, casually asking if she can use his vape. They both start searching for it, checking the table, looking around the room, but it's nowhere to be seen. But watch what happens.
What was it at?
I swear, I looked right there.
Yeah, it wasn't there. Where did it fall from?
Out of absolutely nowhere, the vape materializes right on the glass table, dropping into view with a soft tap as though it fell from mid-air.
What was it at?
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
I think that might have been faked. I can't tell, but it looks like there's a little green device on the table there. It's got like a little weird kind of a parabolic base with a round kind of head. And if you look, the bottom of the structure changes. It'll like a little door opens up on it, like the lighter pops out the back. Let's roll that one more time. See if you guys can spot this. That's what I think it is. I think it comes out of that green thing, like a little door opens up and it pops out.
I'm really excited to show this to you. My lighter disappeared right in front of me. Well, I found this video that shows exactly how it happened. They caught it on film. It's awesome. Here we go.
In the video, she's sitting with her boyfriend, casually asking if she can use his vape. They both start searching for it, checking the table, looking around the room, but it's nowhere to be seen. But watch what happens.
What was it at?
I swear, I looked right there.
Yeah, it wasn't there. Where did it fall from?
Out of absolutely nowhere, the vape materializes right on the glass table, dropping into view with a soft tap as though it fell from mid-air.
What was it at?
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
I'm calling that completely fake, thinking it could be AI even. AI or that little device has a little door that opens up on the bottom of it and it popped out of there. That's what I'm thinking it was. Okay, I've got another investigation video. These folks were sitting around a table and the REM pods were going off and stuff, which REM pods basically, it picks up electromagnetic frequencies and there's different styles. There's ones that just blink and light up, make a sound, and then there's other ones that have intensity meters. So the stronger the EMF, the more lights go off, and if it gets closer, the sound gets louder and changes. So uh, that's what's going on here. So we'll see what you think of this investigation. And I've already watched it a few times. I've already got kind of my mind made up what I think's going on here, but see if you guys pick up on anything here.
Back up your phone. Put it back. He put it down and it didn't go off.
There is an afterlife.
It went off after I asked the question.
And this was sitting there for a good 30 seconds.
Don't upset him.
So sorry.
I'm really here.
Is this one with the door? Whatever is here is toying with you. And I love it.
Oh, look at that. It's midnight. I gotta go.
Ghost.
Can we do it again?
That's the door.
It said yes.
That sounded like somebody unlocking the door.
Okay, there's a few things. I mean, everybody does their own thing, investigates how they want, but I would, first thing I would do would be to get the cell phone away from the table. When he went close to it, removed it. These things are sensitive. You get within a couple feet, you can get in the range of it. You're breaking the signal, and it'll go off. So they're sitting too close to it. I think this is just my opinion, but based on experience, I think they're sitting too close to the REM pod. He's got a cell phone. You get close to a phone, it may be picking up his motion. Phone might be trying to interact. He had the light on. All different things that I think could be setting that device off. If he had the phone in airplane mode or had it sitting over on a tripod or something 6-7 feet away, then I think their equipment's definitely going off. Something's setting it off, but I don't know that it's paranormal. I think they may be setting it off themselves. You gotta be careful with your cell phones. Try to keep in airplane mode. That kind of thing. If you got an Apple Watch or something, don't have that on when you're holding a REM pod. Like I got my phone right here. I'm just going to demonstrate. I'm going to get close to this equipment over here, and you might see something might light up. I can't see over there. Yeah, if you can see it lighting up. That one probably needs a new battery, but I bumped that. But I'm not in airplane mode, so keep my phone way over here. Sorry about that, Simon. Anyway, the other thing, these devices are real sensitive to vibration. So I'm going to tap it and show you if you can see that. So you don't want to have this on a table and have a speaker going with or a spirit box with a speaker sitting on the same table, radio, your phone, anything that could be sitting on this table. I can't see it, but my phone's setting it off. You don't want to have this on a table where anything can vibrate. I had a guy, every time the spirit box would go off, this would go off. It almost acts like an equalizer LED because of the vibration. So you don't want to have anything on a table where you got this sitting that it could vibrate. So these are actually more sensitive than an industrial EMF meter because they take the shielding out of them. That's why they use them for paranormal, because they're actually more sensitive. They don't have any shielding in them. Usually if I'm somewhere on location and I have my industrial EMF meter going crazy, there's usually an electrical problem in that house. And if you've got electrical problems giving off high EMF, like all around you, wiring around the room, they call that a Faraday cage or a fear cage, because it messes with your brain. You can hallucinate, just getting headaches, feel sick all the time. So if that's going on in your house before you think it's paranormal, get your electrical system checked. It can definitely influence your health. It's not a good thing. You could have, it could start a fire, that kind of thing. So, especially in some of these older houses, with the old style wiring and whatnot, if you're experiencing some weird stuff like that, but you're not really, nothing's getting moved around the house, but you're seeing stuff, hearing stuff, could be high EMF. That's something we always check for when we go into somebody's home, to make sure it's not an electrical problem. And I had, so this one, I think was like a little toddler, and the little toddler was like trying to, I think thought he was going to like go out the door and run off. And, the ghost said, not today, little guy. Kind of cool video. It looks like the ghost is shutting the door so the kid can't leave. But if you go back, if you watch that, it cuts from the first image. And then when the little toddler's by the door and he walks away a little bit, it cuts and starts again when the door's shut. So it's not a full frame. It starts and stops. So I'm thinking somebody had time to stop it, put a string or something on the door, start it back up, make the door move, and fake everybody out, make them think the ghost did it. It's a cool video. It's kind of interesting, entertaining, but I think it's completely fake. If anybody has any other ideas or they want to comment, send in a comment or call in. I'll put them on live if you got a comment. This one, we're just going to kind of jump around a little bit. I had one more cryptid. It didn't show a cryptid image. It showed some. This one, you never see the actual creature, but you can hear it. And it's coming a little closer. And these people are freaked out. This one here, I think, is legit, but I don't know what it is. It almost sounds like a goat.
What was that? You hear that? What the world? Oh, heck no.
I think that's the goat, like saying, don't leave without me. I'm coming. Thinking that's a goat. So along with, our government, we have the FBI, you got your, CIA, different investigative units, and then you've got your, different military investigative units. Our blood brothers, the Navajo, the Indians, our natives, they have their own, kind of like an X-Files division. And these two gentlemen were sent out just to go investigate, cryptids, UFO sightings, all that kind of stuff. And I just thought this was really cool that, the Navajo tribe has this kind of thing going on. Like they've got their own investigation unit. So I'd love to go hang out with these guys. I'm sure they could probably teach me all kinds of stuff, Anyway, I thought this was cool. See what you guys think.
UFOs, Bigfoot, Skinwalker.
Our director actually assigned us. And so we just looked at each other and we said, wow, I guess we're Navajo X-Files. We had over 30 sightings of people that reported Bigfoot along the San Juan River up in the Bloomfield to Shiprock area. Me and Stan started tracking this creature about a mile or so. It looked exactly like a large version of a human track. measured 21 inches. So unless something's out there bigger than Shaquille O'Neal, I wouldn't want to meet it, you know? I mean, it's big. We have a 5-foot stride from heel to heel. We get to a point where the tracks disappear. If the thing had taken another step, it would have left a footprint. We come to find out that this is a regular thing up there.
During the making of the movie, did anything catch me off guard? I think the opportunity to sit down with some people that I really had never interacted with for a long term alone. Start off with Jonathan Dover, Navajo Ranger. Jonathan had come to other premieres I had and we had talked, but when I sat down and started to talk to him and understood that his primary job at some point working.
So that was the Navajo X-Files. That was actually pretty cool. So those guys investigate anything on the Indian reservation, you know, the paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, everything. So that's pretty cool. This is another cryptid. This one, it's a form of what they call a crawler.
Who's this guy? So this monster is a Casper Mountain crawler. There's a whole class of cryptids called crawlers, and they're often mistaken with skinwalkers, but crawlers are something different. Now, why is our crawler standing up? This is the size that they would be. Normally, they crawl around on all fours. Our museum is only so big, so some things that are normally on all fours might be shown standing when we make the model for them. These guys, I think, are terrifying. There's a lot of cool crawler pictures all over the internet.
In North American, I think it was a cryptid. I'd like to go there. Maybe have that guy on as a guest. He's pretty cool. I've seen a couple of his videos with the different cryptid creatures. This gentleman is I'm not sure what I believe he's a priest. He may be a bishop, but he does exorcisms with the Catholic Church. We have one here in Louisville, Bishop Long, and he's with the old school Catholic Church. I've just started watching this guy, and he's got some crazy stories, some stuff that's happened to him, and I think it's awesome that he feels pretty comfortable talking about it and whatnot. I think he'd be a cool guest to have on too. If there's any priests out there watching that's done exorcisms or anything like that, would like to come on and share their experiences and give us some, advice on what to do, what not to do, how to protect ourselves, how to not get into situations where somebody can get an attachment. I think that'd be great. Anyway, here we go.
And it really, it kind of terrified him. He's like, that was so weird. I would never go back on that thing. There was another one on TikTok of a father who was testing this whole AI thing with a person, AI. And then the son wanted to try it. So the dad's like, sure, it's fake. So and all of a sudden the son goes, well, where did you come from? And he says, well, I existed from long ago. And he goes, what does that mean? He goes, my father was one of the giants. And he goes, what do you mean by giant? And he goes, a Nephilim. And he goes, who is your father? And he goes, Satan. And then he goes, but I'm not going to hurt you. And he puts up a happy face. So then the kid's like, Dad, this thing is going down a weird path. And then the father started watching and it went weirder. And then the dad's like, we're off, right? So that's not normal for a programmed computer program to go into, I'm the son of Satan, and I want to be your friend, and I'm not going to hurt you, although I can. He said, I can hurt you, but I'm going to be nice to you.
I do regularly refer to my phone as a portal to hell. So, I guess I'm not terribly surprised.
What phone do you have?
An iPhone.
Yeah. The image on the iPhone is what?
It's an apple with a bite taken out.
Yes. Odd, right?
That is odd.
Yeah. Forbidden fruit?
Never really made that connection with the Apple iPhone with the Apple bitten out of it. How you doing there, Bo? Dog come to see me. Camera don't shine down that low. How you doing there, buddy? So this is one of the things that one of the inherent dangers of going out. You can have an attachment, something can come home with you. So that's one of the reasons people say, "Oh, don't mess with the Ouija board," because basically the difference between a Ouija board and doing something electronic, a spirit box, an app. Ouija board, you put your hands on a planchette. You're basically giving something permission to take over your body and move that planchette. With a spirit box or a device or electronic or whatever, there's a little bit of separation between you and whatever it is. You're asking whatever it is to interact with the device or interact with, some equipment or, what have you. And it's not like you're giving it permission to come through you or use your hands or use your body to move something. It's all completely, like a line of separation between you and whatever it is. And, well, the dog's over here sniffing. He usually don't do that. You smell something, buddy? He's checking it out. Don't get in my wires, buddy. Well, are you satisfied? Guess he's sniffing everything tonight. I don't know. Anyway, these guys were at Gettysburg, and they believe something came home with them.
I've had a Civil War soldier following me around for 3 years. Before you write me off as a schizophrenic, I'm a ghost hunter, and about 3 years ago, I went to Devil's Den in Gettysburg. If you don't know what that is pretty much the bloodiest part of the whole Gettysburg battle, Devil's Den, I think. I'm pretty sure. And I went there at night with 2 of my friends, which apparently is a felony. I didn't know that. Don't do that. That was stupid of us. So we go there, we're investigating, and eventually we do an EVP session. And during the session, we start talking to the spirit, and they tell us that it was somebody's birthday. And we're like, oh, whose birthday was it? And you hear it clear as day on the EVP. It was Clark's.
Did it really?
I think I heard Clark.
Was it anybody you guys named birthday at all, or was it someone else?
It was Clark.
Which, already crazy. What's even crazier, since that day, for years, on every ghost hunt I went on, I would always get the name Clark. And he was attached to me for years. He was attached to me and my friend Justin. He'd go back and forth between us. He'd go on all these different adventures and ghost hunts with us. It was insane. It was my first ever attachment. Randomly, I guess it's probably a year ago now, I haven't heard from him. He doesn't show up anymore. I think he's gone. But for years, I had a Civil War ghost following me around and going on ghost hunts with me. Wow.
I hope they don't come after that young man there. Sound like he didn't know what he was doing was wrong. We always try to get permission. We're going anywhere private, or we like to go to cemeteries and whatnot, and generally we'll call the sheriff's department before we go, just to make sure it's okay and let them know we're out there. So if they get a call, they'll know it's us. There's an old bridge that we investigate here. We used to call the Bowling Green police, or we'll call Warren County, let them know we're going out, just in case they get a call or anything like that. Sometimes the sheriff will come out with us. He'll hang out with us, and go out. So, pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, if you're going, especially a national park or somewhere, Mammoth Cave, you could go out there all night long. Now, if you're staying overnight, you better be in a campsite or campground. After 8 o'clock, they have curfew on the old churches now. They will come and they're usually cool about it. Like, hey, not supposed to be out of here. Time to pack up. They actually have cameras now. They're like wireless cameras and I don't know where they monitor them from or anything like that. But as soon as you pull up, they know you're there. There's a lot of surveillance equipment out there now on especially the old churches, like Joppa Church. I think there's another Baptist church at Mammoth Cave. Just because of the vandalism is getting so bad, people aren't respectful. It's makes it rough if you're going to go out and investigate somewhere, and you can't investigate now unless get special permission or permit or whatever, because people are vandalizing. That don't mean there's not activity during the daytime. You're just not going to see stuff on IR or any self-illuminating stuff. But there's plenty of activity during the daytime. Sometimes we'd rather go during the daytime just because of the weather or for safety or whatever. But that's what's going on out there. Just got to be careful. You may be committing a crime, don't even know it. These are really cool. This is one of the things that kind of got me into paranormal in the first place. When I was a kid, I'd go to the library and I'd find these ghost books, and they've got all these old Victorian era photographs, and right around the people were doing the spiritual movement and doing a lot of seances, that kind of thing. I know Houdini, the magician, he kind of shut down a lot of that, like basically proved a lot of it was fake. But some of these pictures have been analyzed over and over, and some of them they can't prove that there's anything nefarious going on. They're just actual pictures. So these are some Victorian pictures. This popped up this week. I thought these are really cool. I don't know if anybody else is into the old pictures. I got some old pictures here somewhere. I think I'll have a whole picture next week. I got a bunch of pictures I'll pull up. I've actually got some Civil War pictures and some other old pictures. I just kind of like to see how people dressed and how they lived, and how they got by day to day. So without further ado, let's check out these Victorian ghost pictures. Yeah, I have to agree. That same picture is the one that got me. That one on the stairs. That's a classic one there. I actually wouldn't mind getting a print of that one. That was probably one of my favorite ones. Thing got me hooked. And I was already interested in that stuff. But now it's kind of cool. You can just pull it up on your TikTok or your Facebook or your, YouTube or, what have you. And nowadays, if you want to know about something, you just pull up you can Google or hit Bing or Yahoo, whatever. It's like back in the day, we had to go drive to the library and then go in whatever section it was, look it up in the Dewey Decimal System, and sometimes they were alphabetical, but you'd find, then you'd have to go to that section of the library, find the book. And if you want to go home and read about it, you had to check out the book. And if you forgot about the book, you had to pay a fine. It's like you might have to pay them a quarter or something, if you were late with that book. And if you didn't bring the book back, you had to pay for the book. So it's kind of cool now. You can just pick up a phone. It's like having your encyclopedia and a library in your hand. That's one of the things that just fascinates me about this technology. And these kids nowadays got it made. They don't have to go to the library if they don't want to. If they want to know about something, they just pull it right up. So you can win a few bets and arguments too. People think they know something. You could Google it real quick, get the answer. Well, I think that's about all I have for this week. And it's going to warm up next week a little bit. So I don't know if we're going to get to do an investigation or not, or maybe we'll have some more possibly haunted dolls or guys. But we got these guys here. This guy here is pretty cool. But what do you say there, Simon? What do you say?
I think we've had enough for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all have a good one, come on.
And thanks, Simon. Y'all have a good one.